This is Groove Talk with FrogE Style.
Welcome to another episode of Groove Talk, everybody. On this episode, I am joined by Less Miserable.
Woo!
Yep.
So, to start us off, I guess, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the band.
I'm James. I play guitar and I sing and I write the songs, mostly.
Yeah, I'm Mackenzie. I play guitar.
I'm Dan, and I like to party. I'm the bass player. I'm new.
That first part was more accurate. Should have just been that first part. The bass playing is the minor there. Major minor.
What's your name?
My name's Al, and I play drums. And I knock on Dan quite ferociously. That's my thing. That's what I do.
We didn't mention that Al is actually just as loud as me.
I'm pretty loud, too.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I guess tell us a little bit about the band.
We're a punk band. I don't know what else to say about us.
That's about it.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of in the pop Jeff Rosenstocky kind of vein of punk music coming out these days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Those are the bands we expressly rip off.
Exactly.
It's definitely apt.
Yeah.
So you guys have a EP coming out at the end of the month. Right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Cool. So I guess tell us a little bit about that.
Geez, I don't know what to say about it. It's three
three
songs. It's all about being broke.
Yeah, 2/3 of it was recorded in 2017, and then one last third was 2018, and now it's being released in 2019.
Yep.
And it's going to be a split with the Detractions, who are also doing 3 songs on the other side of the vinyl.
Yeah. And it's... Yeah, they're called Detractions now, actually. They
shit.
dropped the.
Wait, do they still wear, I believe they called them jean shorts? Is that still the thing? I don't know there's any way to simplify those any words, any shorter. Yeah.
Inside
Jean
Scenes, maybe. I don't know.
Roadhouse Records as well.
Yeah, it's on Roadhouse Records. Jesse Rhodes runs that label and helped us with the funding of the album and the distribution and all that stuff. So
Yep.
I guess we should probably mention it's happening on March 30th at the Palomino.
yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be us, Detractions, No More Moments,
And Act Natural.
and Act Natural. Yeah, so it'll be a pretty fun bill that night.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Awesome. So what made you guys decide to do a split album then?
I think Jesse was the one who.
Yeah,
actually-
that was Jesse's
Jesse Rhodes.
brainchild. Yeah.
Because we recorded the 2 songs.
Yeah, they were originally supposed to be just a single.
Yeah, it was supposed to be just.
We just wanted to put it out as our own thing, and then Jesse hopped on board, heard the songs, loved them.
Yeah. And he's like, well, we should release this through Roadhouse, but since it's only going to be however many songs, we should do a split. And as soon as we heard the word split, it was like, okay, well, Detractions. Someone get Detractions on the phone.
Yeah.
And then they surprisingly wanted to work with us. And we were kind of just, I don't know, very happy about it and said yes to it. And that's pretty much it. But I mean, yeah, there was really only them we wanted to work with. There's lots of other great bands, but like as soon as the idea of a split came up, it was like, Detractions, done. That was about it.
Yeah, they're kind of our, like, we feel a kind of kinship to them. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're just friends of ours. And
Yeah, good guys.
Yeah.
Good tunes.
So,
Pretty simple choice.
yeah.
Awesome. So it's coming out on vinyl?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is it like your first vinyl release?
Yes.
or-
Yeah.
Okay, so how excited are you about that then?
Oh, it's I can't wait.
Yeah,
my
cool.
dad only listens to vinyl, so you can actually listen to our music now. So that's cool.
That is cool. Yeah. My dad only listens to 8-track, so he's hooked on this one.
Yeah, my brother listens to music on Nintendo Game & Watch systems.
I have an aunt who listens to it on Laserdisc exclusively.
That's hipster.
It's only
fuck.
it's the Phantom of the Opera soundtrack, but that's that's her thing.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I feel like vinyl is one of those things. It's kind of like a pillar in any band's kind of history or whatever. It's you have a CD, you release it, but then you get a vinyl and a vinyl disc, and that's just something so much more. I feel.
Yeah, all like I grew up like listening to vinyl records because my dad has this giant collection of vinyl, and it just feels like, in a weird like not self-aggrandizing, like this weird like this weird way. It's like, oh, we're part of this history of vinyl records. It's like, it just feels like this means something more than just a CD that we burned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that I spent like how many nights hand stamping.
Phone calls
Writing
were made
it
for
in.
this. There was actual.
yeah,
Someone gave a shit.
Yeah, someone cared.
yeah, and it just makes us feel. I guess I can only speak for myself, but it makes me feel like this band is more important than it actually is.
It's always nice to have things you can hang on the wall where you're just like, I made this, and I'm gonna see this every day.
You guys suck. Yeah, but we have vinyl. Didn't Charles Manson have vinyl? What did?
Yeah, but here's the thing: Charles Manson's vinyl is probably significantly more successful than ours is gonna be.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad point at all.
Yeah.
The historian market alone.
Rip.
Well, it's like vinyl is something like it's physical, right? You know, in today's digital age and stuff like that, you know, lots of people release music and it's strictly online, and that's cool and it's accessible. But like having a vinyl or even a CD, it's like that physical thing, and I feel like music is almost missing that nowadays. People don't have CDs anymore. They don't tend towards vinyl and stuff. They're looking for that online thing. So
Totally.
but it like having that physical thing makes it kind of like more permanent, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spotify.
it's a lot easier to delete something out of your iTunes than it is to like whip a CD in the trash.
It's not much.
It's not as
more
satisfying,
effort.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
a personal vendetta at that point.
Do you guys still have those CDs that you like look at and you just like have problems throwing them out even if you don't listen to them anymore?
I keep all my.
I'm
CDs.
I'm a hoarder
Yeah.
when it comes to CDs and
Yeah.
any kind of music.
I have
Physically.
a 3 days grace CD.
Oh, that's like evidence now.
But I'm not gonna throw it out. I bought it when I was in grade 8, and I remember going to the store and picking it out, and you know, it's like it's a part of my musical upbringing in a sense, even though it's got songs like Just Like You on it and the other ones.
Full disclosure, we would totally go on tour with 3 Days Grace.
100%.
We're not on tour with anyone. Someone hire us, please.
Yes. I want
Your kid's having a birthday party? Fuck it, we'll do it.
Yeah, I want to quit my job.
Yeah.
Take us on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be cool.
So is the process for recording vinyl much different from other kind of recordings?
I don't
or-
think so.
No.
Well, I think we just did it all, like it's all digital.
Yeah,
but it was
and-
put on vinyl. It's a little different than like an analog into like specifically, you know, recorded for vinyl. But I don't know. It sounds good. We're actually gonna go listen to the vinyl after this.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna go have
Yeah.
a little vinyl listening party because Jesse just got the test pressings in, so. See how it sounds. All of us have heard the recording so many times and how digital, so it'll
But
be
now
cool.
we get to see it spin.
Yeah, there's a loop at the very end, and it's just James screaming, so that'll be fun to hear that.
There's a locked group at the end, and it's me getting frustrated.
Yeah.
You getting frustrated? No.
I know.
Getting
I know.
angry.
Oh, that ain't me.
That ain't me, boy.
So is there anything about this recording experience in particular that maybe stands out in your guys' minds as awesome, or maybe something that was really terrible, or I don't know?
Oh boy.
Oh.
Dear.
No, I mean, I love being in the recording studio. It's like I love it so much and I know people who despise it and hate being in the studio, and I don't know. I always loved it. So the entire experience of recording anything is always fun for me. So,
Totally.
Yeah, and nothing in particular stands out, or nothing I can think about right now. It's just, I mean, recording drums was weird.
Yeah, recording drums was pretty weird because the way we did it was we used this technique called separation or cymbal separation, where you do the shells first and then you do the cymbals. So you'd have pads for your cymbal run instead of drums, and then opposite for the other way. And it was kind of weird, but I mean, it was cool. Probably my favorite part of recording was hanging out with Wilbur
Yeah.
at Evius Studios,
Yeah.
and you know,
Wilbur is just the friendliest cat in the world. That just he sees you and he plops down and then immediately wants attention.
yeah, that's Wilbur.
That's great.
That's Wilbur.
He's the best.
But working with Eric was great too, because I mean,
Yeah.
anyone listening out there who's worked with Eric knows he's just awesome. He's
Yeah.
chill and he knows what he's doing, and yeah, I definitely recommend him for sure.
Yeah.
Is there like a kind of standout moment, like maybe from your childhood or whatever, where you like really got into music? You know, there's like the moment that separated not being into music from being into music, or have you just always been music people?
I think just like seeing Angus Young with an SG just being cool, like AC/DC made me want to play guitar, and even like School of Rock, that movie with Jack Black in that SG. I don't play an SG now, I should, but like I don't know.
We all should.
I just thought it was like the coolest thing ever, and then yeah, that's how that started for me.
You saw Jack Black and thought, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
I guess that explains why she's dating me.
Let he who doesn't find Jack Black sexy cast the first stone. Okay.
And it's just Kyle Gass being upset.
Dan, you want to answer that question, or do we
Oh yeah,
go
no,
around?
Jack Black totally hot.
Oh, okay.
No, I
Smash
just
your pass.
yeah, no. I've for me, I've always been very musical. Like I'm playing instruments since I was a kid, and it wasn't until my very first touring experience, which was absolutely miserable and it went on for 2 months. But I came back and I was like, I want to keep doing this. I just want to actually find the right people to play shows and tour with.
And they're out
One day,
there.
yeah, one day I'll find it.
Yeah, they're out
I'm not losing hope yet, but yeah.
By the way, sidebar, Smash or Pass Jack Black is like a song name through and through. Like, Jack Black, Smash or Pass.
That is a hardcore band.
I
if
love
ever
that
heard
so
one.
much. That's so much. That's almost as good as Chuck E. Cheese hardcore. I started listening to music when I was driving around with my mom and dad. My dad played Will Smith, and my mom would play Backstreet Boys, and I thought, this is all music is, huh? This sucks. Then I heard, Metallica and the other, like Billy Talent, Green Day, all those bands, and it was just like, oh yeah, no, this is really cool. And then Mike Portnoy was my favorite drummer when I was a kid, so I was like, oh yeah, let's try to be as good as this guy, and that just kind of grew from there, and here we are. How about you, James?
For me, it was when I first heard "Enema of the State" by Blink-182.
Nice.
In my in my neighbor's basement.
Nice.
Yeah. That was it for me. It was like, oh yeah, cool music, this kind of music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Totally.
It was just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Nice. So I guess what is it about playing in this band that you maybe like over playing in other bands? If you do play in any other bands.
These two do.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess you do as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This. I mean, this band kind of just makes me feel like I'm fronting against me, and that's my dream. So that's why I like in other bands I've been in. Like I've only really been in one other band, and it was like a progressive thrash metal band. So being in this band where I really feel like more of a connection to the music is just it feels better.
I mean, it's your music for the most part.
Sure,
Like,
but
the way we've always seen this band, well, the way I've always seen this band, I can't speak for the others, is it's like James's vision, and then the rest of us are just like bringing it to life. Like he's almost the engine, and then we're like, the different components that just make it a full vehicle.
Oddly shaped wheels, so I'm just
Yes, the oval wheels are a work in progress.
We're like a turbocharger in an '89 Civic.
Yes, that's a very apt way of putting the band in. But yeah, I don't know. I grew up on metal, so I love playing metal, and this band is like, it's obviously
Close-ish.
not like it's similar, but it's still, I don't know. It's, like I'm not using double kick, I'm not doing blast beats, but it's like I'm still thinking about my drum parts and still making sure everything is where it needs to be. And I don't know, it's weirdly technical too for what it is. You wouldn't really think so, but the more you listen to it, it's like, oh man, it's like, I don't know, I'm a drummer, so I hear things, and guitar players and vocalists will be like, oh yeah, whatever, and I'll just be like, man, that is the coolest thing ever. Like the harmonized guitar part and costs a lot to be this curse. Like for these guys, it's probably just like, oh yeah, it's just a scale form or scale shape or whatever. You just do it. But I'm just like, oh my god, face melters. Oh my god. So, I don't know. It's cool though. I love it.
Yeah, I guess for me, because I have another project that I front, so that one is kind of my one that I get to be more creative and do a lot more writing. And then this band's a lot of fun because I just get to perform on really fun music that I love, but then I also get to play complicated music, which is something I haven't gotten to do a lot last couple years. Like all four of us have kind of studied music, and we're all at a kind of
Yeah, we're
similar.
Formal as.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, like we at least know enough theory that we can communicate our ideas pretty easily, which is really nice. Good communication in a band is important, which is one of the reasons I like this band. That everyone shows up, they know what they're doing, and we just ran a new song today for the first time, and we had it nailed after 2 tries, and that's a really good feeling in a band.
Yeah. Ditto what Dan said.
Yeah.
Word for word.
You also like to party?
Yeah. I like to party. The beer and whatnot.
Oh, beer and whatnot.
Yeah, the whatnot is the most
Yeah, the
important
whatnot
part.
is the intriguing
You
part
don't
there.
get to know that.
All right. You are in all hands on Jane, so you're
Yeah,
probably
there's a lot of whatnot.
Max like the secret hardest part here.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, it's a party.
What is it about Calgary's music scene that maybe, because you all seem like you've been around touring bands and been to different places in Canada and kind of experienced different music scenes. So what is it about Calgary's music scene that maybe makes it different from some other cities?
I would say it's got to be the community, hands down. Yeah. In the last couple of years, I've just noticed how much more the community's kind of come together and been supporting each other. And out of places like before, kind of Burns used to be the place where bands would get their start, and it's of course still there, and everyone for the most part loves Burns. I know I do. But now Broken City has actually done a huge amount of work with Rockin' for Dollars. It's brought in so many people that you wouldn't kind of have expected to come out, and we've seen a lot of amazing bands, met a lot of great friends through there, and it's just done amazing things for the community. Same with Major Minor Music. It's just been bringing people together in a very positive, supporting environment, which is really good. It doesn't feel like the bands are competing or being mean. It feels like everyone's actually being there to support each other.
Yeah. I'd say, there's none of the, like, cattiness. I mean, it's there, but it's just, you just kind of ignore it. And
Like generally you'll hear people say nice things about other bands instead of just like, I would have done it like this, or, I wasn't into that. Like, it's a lot more supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other one I was really part of was the Red Deer scene, because I'm from Edmonton, but I wasn't really the music world guy when I was in Edmonton. But Red Deer, it was very closed off. It was very much so, like, you could go to shows and hang out with people and they're nice, but it was kind of its own little packed world, whereas Calgary's more open in a sense. It's not that vibe at all. It's more like, hey, come play a show. People will be here for you, and play more of them, and then you'll get more people, and everyone, it's like Dan said, everyone supports each other, and yeah, it's great. It's a good scene.
Yeah.
Cool. So what age did you guys start going to shows at?
I grew up in a really small town, so I started, like, unless I was like putting the show on or like helping put the show on, then I wasn't going to any shows at all. I was going to, like, I'd go see Rush or something when it came to Edmonton, and
Big shows.
But, like, yeah, as far as local shows, like, not till I got to college, and
Yeah.
I was in Red Deer, and just that's when I started going to shows.
I went to a couple hardcore shows in Edmonton when I was a kid, but, like, nothing until, basically college, really. Like, the actually going out and meeting people and, not just there to get drunk and party. Although there's a lot of that, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess I went to school in the States, so I moved when I was 18. So I didn't actually go to my first real show until the first one I actually played when I was 20, because I couldn't get into the bars over there. So other than just like performances at school, I didn't actually go to my first show until I was 20.
Yeah, it was just like community hall shows or Saddle Dome or whatever when I was a kid. 'Cause
Where are you
also
from, Mac?
A little town called Trochu, and the first band I ever saw was Nazareth at the town hall when I was 12 with my dad.
Love hurts.
So that's great.
Is there like a standout show maybe that made you be like, this is what I want to do? You know, did you guys have that moment with the show at all? Or?
There's bands like that, but never really like a live show. The first concert I ever saw was Rammstein, and
Too
hot.
between all the giant penises I saw on stage, I mean, you know, it's cool. It's cool.
You can call them Ramstein. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a Rammstein.
Oh, whatever.
Excuse me.
I wasn't cool enough to listen to that when I was a kid.
Rammstein.
Not really bad.
No, it's not cool at all. But it's also it was a lot of
It's
fun.
okay.
But it didn't like inspire me to like go out and play shows. It was more like hearing records and thinking, oh, this would be really cool. Like BT Bam, Between the Buried and Me. All-time favorite band, maybe mixed with The Doors. The Doors and BT Bam. I got the two sides. Got the heavy and the light. But hearing BT Bam, I was like, man, I want to like do what these guys do. And then I saw them, and it was like, oh man, now I really want to do what these guys do. You know, it was, yeah, for me.
I was never inspired by a show. Never.
Never?
No. The only thing about seeing a show, like a local show or anything, was just I just wanted to be on stage. Every time I ever had a show, I just wanted to be up there. That's it. So there's never really a moment. It was just always there. Just I saw a stage, I wanted to be on it because I'm a bit of an attention whore. So
Aren't we all?
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I just love getting validations from a room full of people that have to be nice to you. So I just love me, love me.
So have you guys always wanted to be musicians then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was always there, like wanting to be a musician, but my brain goes in a billion different directions at any given moment. So one day it was a musician, and then I wanted to be an actor, and then I wanted to do whatever, and then
It's still kind of like that.
yeah,
It's
but yeah.
We're playing in a band, but I still maybe want to go out and be a baker, you know? Maybe I do want to make cupcakes all day. I don't know.
Maybe I want to have a stable living.
Yeah.
That's kind of more the it's not really the
Stable
job, it's just...
living. What is this? What is
That's
this?
when you lose all your money and then you have to go listen to horse stables.
I've heard of that before. Actually, I think a lot of jazz musicians used to do that. Stable living.
You pay for it in exposure.
I see.
To the cold.
I got dark, Mac. Jeez.
Is there anything that surprised you about being in a band that maybe you didn't expect?
The smell.
The amount I have to get naked for some reason.
People don't just throw drugs at you. You gotta buy them.
The horror.
Mac?
Nah, I can't really think it's about what I thought.
Oh.
Okay. The other band doesn't smell. You guys.
Yeah, we all watch Spinal Tap. I think we had pretty low expectations going into this.
I modeled after Doobie Fan, right? So I knew what to expect.
So, as like technology has changed, obviously, I feel like it's more accessible for anybody now to kind of make music. There are home studios and garage studios and stuff like that. So I guess how have you guys benefited from the change in technology musically, I guess?
People get to hear us now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we get to we get to record for relatively cheap, and people get to hear it, and it doesn't sound like garbage. So you just get to be like from this creative space into this recorded space into this released space, and then people can just hear it, and it's as close to like farm to table music as you can get, really.
Yeah, and then even with kind of a thing that we kind of do as a band is we'll use like a tab editor program where you can actually basically enter in your music note for note, how the timing goes, it'll play it back to you. So, James will write a song, Al will like write his drum parts on that same track, Mac will do her guitar parts, and then end up doing the bass, and then that way, we all come to jam without ever actually heard the song for real, and we can all play it, and we know exactly how it sounds, the arrangement, and just for like a lot of young guitar players and, musicians in general, having access to that tool just is, when they can kind of break down the really complicated songs, they end up getting way, way better. And now there's like 16-year-olds that could play circles around us in high school just because they have access to all these tools.
Yeah.
I mean,
Could
protest
you
the
imagine,
hero, right?
Yeah.
Trying to learn stuff off of vinyl and like, how you can just, hear that same 10 seconds to figure out how that lick goes. Could you imagine trying to do that with a record? Like,
You'd break the record. Yeah. They're just, why is there like a big gash right in the middle here?
now no one can learn the miserable songs.
Oh, I love it. It's like copyright protection. You just remove parts of the song.
No, that's kind of what Zeppelin did. Just made it too hard to play. So.
Yeah. Who the hell would ever want to learn one of our songs?
Yeah. Okay, you must be hurting pretty bad. Cover a less miserable song.
There's a lot of healthy self-deprecation happening in
I
this band.
love it
Healthy?
so much. I love it so much. Deprecation done right.
I mean, you can't let your ego get out of control, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have a little ego, though.
Yeah.
Little ego
In the
go a
industry.
long way. Yeah. You've gotta have a little ego. Yep. We have a maybe not firm, a soft firm no Galacticas talk in the band. Not that we don't like the Galacticas, just because Dan used to be in them.
They just released their new album. I hear it's good.
It is good.
Yeah,
it
we
is
liked
good.
it. Yeah. That's what seamless.
No, it's a good thing for those boys.
Their EP release was a lot of fun. Those,
Yeah.
like all the bands were good. It was
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about it. We can't talk about it.
Wait, about what?
Yeah, exactly.
Dan, you weren't even there.
Where?
Yeah, exactly.
So since music is so much more accessible for everybody to make, and there's a lot more music out there, what do you guys do to kind of stand out from everybody else?
I don't have an answer.
I mean, I would honestly say that's just kind of the way that we do our songs, and that with kind of everything we've learned kind of bleeds into the music. So it's, you have 4 people that are, talented at their instruments, very creative. All 4 of us have kind of done separate things that are all really good. So Less Miserable is, better than the sum of its parts kind of deal. Forgot where I was going with this.
It's just honest music too. That's
Oh.
what I like about it.
Yeah, like
I'm
it's
not really trying to be anything. It's just.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely, like, lyric wise, hits a lot of people close to home, and I think they kind of connect with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, what did you guys win this summer?
Oh, shut up, Dan. we won in the Upstart category, I think it is.
Yeah.
The
No.
Ship and Anchor
Was it
songwriting
Upstart?
contest.
Yep.
The
Jameson Upstart, yeah.
second from the top.
Yeah, and we won the songwriting.
It was like
contest.
almost $2,000. It was good.
Mm.
Yeah,
It was a good experience.
yeah.
We were
And-
shocked, and still are to
Yeah.
this day, that we won that. Like,
I mean, it's definitely a song. It was
It's called Dead Stout's Discouragement.
It's on
the
It's on the
upcoming-
new
yeah.
EP
and
coming out.
it's definitely a song that, like, when you listen to the lyrics, it definitely will connect with a lot of people, and I feel like that's really important for music. Like, it has to have some kind of connection to the person listening to it.
So Dan did say when we won, he said you just turned a song about being broke into like $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That feels good.
yeah.
That was the definition of irony right there.
Yeah.
You sellouts.
Yeah.
Rip.
So I guess how do Less Miserable songs come together then?
James writes them, puts them on Guitar Pro, sends them to us, and then we all do our parts, and then we figure it out here in the
Yeah.
basement.
There are like it's kind of 80-20. Like 80% of it is all pretty rigidly, this is what the song is, and then there's usually 20% of like any song where you can do like, we're free to come up with our own stuff, and there's wiggle room in the song. It's not like rigid, this is how the song goes and fuck you.
Yeah.
It's,
But it's still very structured though, which I quite like, versus like just jamming something out. Oftentimes you fall into the same kind of patterns, right? Like, oh, this sounds good with it, and you're not really pushing yourself, versus writing a part on paper that you can't play yet.
Yeah,
you know, like that really pushes you as a musician. Like, oh, this would sound cool. I don't know how to play it, but I gotta learn it, and then boom.
Yeah.
Versus something
I almost
that
hate
just...
jamming for that reason, because it's like, oh, hey, let's jam in 120 again, 120 BPM, and maybe similar key signature, and you know, it's like whenever I jam with people who just like, you know, it's the first time we're jamming. We'll play, and it'll sound good, and that first take will be just awesome, and then everything after that'll be, it's pretty samey. You don't really have that problem in this band, because everything's different, more or less. Yeah. So that's really cool.
But, and things might change, too, because Dan and I are relatively new.
Yeah.
Right? So it's...
Yeah.
I don't write. I write lyrics and drum parts. That's it.
Yeah.
So James writes most of the songs, but these two are still getting caught up on...
the old material.
Yeah.
It's essentially glorified karaoke.
Yeah. And Dan writes for his own band a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of them. There's a bunch.
yeah, Dan's in a few bands, but yeah, and then you know,
It's Dead Pixel YYC. You know, you can get that at school.
Michael Scott.
I hear their shirts are really comfortable.
yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, there was a podcast about it. It was a thing. Yeah.
I hear their frontman does coke in Red Deer bathroom.
I should specify. I do not. It was just an unfortunate series of coincidences that just led to me almost getting kicked out in Red Deer.
But did
It led to all this cocaine going up my nose. I don't know. I tripped and fell into a kilo. I don't know.
Yeah, is it foggy in here? Or is it just me?
oh dear.
How important is like the lyrical content in this band?
It's music first, always. I don't think I've ever written lyrics first as far as the songs that I write. If the music is banging, then I'll usually, and then I'll just paste some lyrics into a song. But I do try and make the lyrics good. Mm-hmm. But the first thing is music first, and then I'll write lyrics to fit the music, and hopefully, it works. But
Well, lyrics are just so subjective. Like,
Rivers high, so am I.
yeah. Like, you know.
Yep, that's a song. Yeah, I wrote.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
There's a lot of whoa-whoas in a couple of these songs.
Oh dear.
I feel like lyrics and singing and stuff is almost just another, like it is, I guess, just another instrument to the
Yeah.
sound, you know.
Ever listen to Meshuggah?
I'm a big fan of like death metal and stuff like that, and the vocals, once you realize that it's just another rhythmic instrument that's going on, then it's I don't know. I think people would like it maybe a little more if they realize that vocals your vocals are an instrument.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's something kind of this band does really well, is that there will be like a very, you know, like a pleasant or nice melody to the vocal part, but it's kind of the same with guitars. It's like kind of both things are singing, and I think that's a really good thing for music when, you know, like it doesn't just seem like you're playing riffs. Like it seems like there's melody in everything in the song, and that I think helps it stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But also, like, I mean, I come from a metal background as well. I used to listen to a lot of metal in high school and stuff like that. And honestly, listening to a lot of metal music made me appreciate the other parts, because there is no lyrics that you can, like, focus on, you know? So you're focusing on the guitar bits or the drum bits, and you get excited about, like, oh, man, this drum bit right here, it's amazing, or oh, this guitar riff or whatever. And
Totally.
yeah, and I mean, obviously you want songs to harmonize and stuff, but I feel like people can get caught up in the lyrics too much sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, there's like hundreds of years of classical music with no words at all.
Yeah.
So and that's
Good enough for them.
Yeah, and it's
Tell that to Mozart's "Lick Mine Arse." That is a real thing, people. That is a real symphony.
We've all seen Amadeus. Shut up.
What does a Les Miserable live show kind of look like?
A lot of flailing around.
There's a lot. It's
I've never seen us.
Well, only our backsides.
I don't know.
Actually, I do have a really funny story from my first show with Les Miserable. Was we were playing at a major minor music punk rock bowling event, and there wasn't enough microphones to go around. So James and I were sharing a mic, and we have this on video, which is great, where we're both kind of singing along to one of the catchy sing-along choruses, and then there's a break, and we both had the idea that it'd be funny that during the break we would kiss the other guy on the cheek, but because we both had this idea, and we have this on video, we just turn around and lock lips, and then kind of like half keep it together, half break down laughing while we're playing. And that's just the kind of stuff you can expect from a Les Miserable show, is something goes wrong and we keep it together.
I was wearing a lamp on my head for that whole set.
And we love Lamp.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Played a song
It's-
I didn't learn. That was fun.
Hey, me too.
I mean, it kind of depends on the show. Like at Vern's,
It's it
Depends.
You can count on it being really sweaty.
yeah,
That's the most.
that is a guarantee every time.
Yeah, like
splash zone for sure.
But like when we opened for Teenage Bottle Rocket last summer, it was like 30 minutes front to back, boom, 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 like just song after song, and we and then at Vern's, it's like we're ripping our shirts off, we're doing shots on
Do you
stage.
think James won't shut up?
I-
between songs?
James
Yeah, I have a-
talks.
Quint's
I-
yelling.
I have a problem with banter. I either don't do it enough or I do it way too much.
I don't think the first one's an issue.
Yeah, there's only one problem.
Like
I have an imaginary watch that I check on stage.
Well, I'm always I'm like, I don't know, I just see it as entertainment. So when I'm on stage, yeah, the music's great, or I think it's great, but I also like making people laugh. It's it's like I like doing bits on stage. I like making fun of Dan.
It's
Most of my
easier,
banter
yeah.
is making fun of Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I deserved it. We all know what I did.
Danter.
Oh, Danter gets a laugh, but all of my gold gets nothing.
Gold.
Fool's gold,
Gold.
pyrite, or whatever.
One man's gold.
I mean, I feel like that's half a reason you go to a show too. Is like if you wanted to just hear the music, you would sit at home and put on the music, and then you're in your own environment. But going to a show it's more. You
Totally.
get the interaction of the band. You get maybe some extra little riffs or whatever.
That was always a pet peeve of mine when people would go to shows and say, "It sounds just like the record." Like, well, why the fuck did you go?
Or the opposite, just that didn't sound anything like the record. Well, go listen to the record then.
It's like when people complain that like Bob Dylan doesn't play the hits. It's like, well, yeah, he's
He's
played
been doing it for
That
how
hasn't
many
been a complaint
years?
in 50 years.
What? He still has hits? Even though he does strictly Sinatra records now for some reason.
Weird.
But yeah, I just different versions when you play live, and it's like different things to put in, and like big jammy. Like we have moments in some of our songs where we break down and we
Cry.
we'll just jam for.
Cry.
I mean, we cry, sure, but
There are tears.
Yeah, we make
Usually
when
from-
there's
usually
too
from-
much banter.
usually when the audience gets so bored that they're
Yeah.
like, "Wow, okay, can you guys get back to the fucking
Yeah.
song now? How much jamming are you guys gonna do on one chord?"
we like to make sure everyone goes to the bathroom at least once.
Yeah.
So-
Bathroom
Yeah.
break.
I mean, it's
we
important.
have an intermission in the middle of our set.
Yeah.
We just don't announce it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you have a favorite standout show that you've played?
We played the Sellout breakup show last month on the 15th, and
good.
it was,
That was
one of the most packed
fantastic.
shows we played.
Yeah.
It was just super huge crowd. Everyone was there because they wanted to be there. So everyone was just in great mood, great energy from the crowd. Room went nuts.
Yeah.
All the bands were awesome. We played with Speed Control, Fall City Fall, and of course Sellout. And I love all three of those bands. So it was definitely a highlight show for me.
Yeah, that was a good one. My favorite was like it's hard. Once they're done, it's kind of just they're gone, right? But I don't know. It's pretty hard to deny Teenage Bottle Rocket. That was back before we had Dan and Mac in the band when we had the other two guys, and yeah, it was. But that was right after we won the Jameson Upstart category at the ship thing. And, so Chris, I think, heard of us, the guy who owns Dickens, and he gave us a message, and it was just like I remember looking at that message on my phone and just like almost shitting my pants.
I thought it might have been a prank.
I know. I did. It was like, are you kidding me? What?
Psych.
Yeah. So that was a good one. But I mean, they're all pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like I like all their shows. I don't think we've ever had like a show where we came off of it. Like typically it'll be like, oh, I messed up the one part, or oh, we didn't do this so good. But I've never had a show where it's like, man, that was garbage from front to back.
I've felt that way, but that's just because I'm really hard on myself when we play. But the best show I've played with this band is we played a house show. Our friend Jordan, his
that one.
Yeah, that was still to this day. I don't think we've ever played better than that.
I was playing,
and I'm chasing that dragon still.
I was playing on like a child's drum kit for that show, and then everyone who was there got sick, and it was still a great show.
Yeah.
We're not saying it was the band's fault, but
They were in the splash
I mean,
zone.
Ghost
Ghost
poisoning's the
Factory.
thing, all right?
Yeah, Ghost Factory played that show.
Yeah.
Anytime Ghost Factory play anything.
Oh, wait,
and
I was
get to
there.
watch it.
Yeah, you were there, Dan.
Right.
You weren't in the band, but
Yeah,
you
no,
were.
I was there too.
I assume this was like back in Red Deer.
Oh no, we played. We played that house show, and that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what was. There was a weird, sort of. It felt like kind of.
We didn't even know Jordan and Rachel. At
Yeah,
that
I know.
time.
They
Like,
just asked us
we
to
barely.
play.
Yeah, I think there was just like, who's this person? Okay, I guess the Ghost Factory's playing it. We're playing it, and we get
Yeah.
there, and yeah, it was a good time actually. It was a lot of fun.
That's my favorite show we've ever played, and I still if we can ever reach that height again.
Of playing someone's living room?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's my favorite show.
I just realized I think I might have insulted Eli's drum kit when I said it was a child's drum kit. Because I think it was Eli's drum kit that night. So I apologize. I apologize to Mademoiselle's drummer for that one.
Yeah.
Ethan?
That's right. I forgot about that. We actually saw their original lineup for the first time when we played Medicine Hat a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was fun.
yeah, it was cool.
Be cool.
Another good show.
Yeah, we played this out-of-town show in Medicine Hat in what appeared to be like a weird tea house that was covered in like antiques.
Oh, it was a cafe for
Was
sure.
it? Yeah, but they're like, we're like, yeah, do you guys have shows here? Because it was like a lot of like really nice teacups and doilies, and they're like, yeah, we just moved the tables and like we open up the stage, and they pull the stage out of somewhere, and it's to date like one of the biggest out of town shows I've ever played, where there was like 100 people there,
And it was freezing cold.
it was
Oh,
freezing cold, and I
Yeah,
guess there must
it's-
be nothing else going on in Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
The
I
place
think,
was
yeah.
packed,
One
and we had a
show
great
thing,
time.
yeah.
People just wanted to not be outside.
Totally.
It's the only reason they were there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, smoke breaks were limited that night for sure.
Other than Calgary, do you have a favorite like city that you've played in?
Red Deer.
But Vancouver.
Ooh, that's a good one. We haven't played Vancouver yet.
Yeah, Less Miserable hasn't played Vancouver.
I played the Railway Club like shortly before it closed down, and that was a really cool venue.
Cool.
I like Edmonton. Edmonton's a
Edmonton's
great time.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Edmonton's cool. Sewing machine factory.
Aspiring to great heights, Edmonton.
I just love Red Deer because it's an hour drive, but it's
Yeah,
still.
and
you
it
can
not
ask
always
for-
goes well.
You can ask for a guarantee.
You still ask for a guarantee with it. Yeah. That's good.
We did play
We're in
recently.
this band exclusively to make money. I hope
Yeah,
that
100%.
Well, see, here's the thing. 'Cause we
100%.
played a show a couple weeks ago where we didn't really know much going into the show, but they had a giant food spread for the band, and I've never been happier in my life.
Oh, at Bose?
At Bose,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great.
There's just
Yeah.
free booze and just free food.
I thought there was
All
like a
tasty.
real show going on next door or something.
Yeah.
I was like, we wandered into the catering room here.
Like, someone's gonna yell at me for eating this taquito, but
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm so happy.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Do you guys ever kind of like suffer from imposter syndrome?
all the time.
In what,
We were-
way?
Well,
Built on it.
like for example, when you see the food there and it's like this is all for you, but you're just like, no, I can't eat this or
Oh.
whatever.
I was like, I'm gonna eat this until someone yells at me, and then I'll maybe have one more and stop.
Yeah, our name should be Impostor Syndrome.
Absolutely, that's an album. title
That's a
there.
song name.
No
Thank you for
lie.
that, Cody. We're keeping that. You'll get a writer's credit.
Nice.
Yeah, even when we make like money, like I can think about, oh yeah, I put in the man hours to like learn my instrument and learn how to write songs and learn how to sing and learn how to perform. But I still, anytime someone gives me money for making music, I feel a bit like a swindler.
All I'm doing is spending all my time on this earth writing music for you to listen to. I shouldn't have to take
It's
money.
just, it seems like something it's like, oh, you're paying me for something that came out of my head? Like, why?
And you'd be doing it anyway. I
Yeah.
guess that's the point in that, regardless if you're getting paid or not. It's
Yeah.
just something you want to do.
Well, just even like people in my life that aren't in the music world, and they'll ask me like, oh, we got any gigs this week? Yeah, we got to play in this show. Oh, how much you getting paid for that? It's like, I don't know.
However many people come through the door.
Yeah.
Usually.
You
However,
want to come?
yeah, like, if you come, maybe the numbers will
$10.
change. I don't
See,
know.
usually what I do is whenever they ask me that question, I just stop and stare at them, and I pull out my wallet, and I just start taking out money and just dropping it on the ground and being like, this is how much I'm making.
I thought you were gonna say you'd open your wallet up and just a little butterfly would come out and just
Before I keep a butterfly alive, are you kidding me?
Flies out, flips the person off.
The butterfly's running away with my money.
Are there any just kind of final things you guys want to throw out there before we wrap this up?
I guess we have a music video.
A music
Yeah.
we
video.
do have a music video.
We have a music video. It's with our two old members of
so
the band.
If you watch it, don't get too confused. We do
Like Dan,
have...
we actually both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mac and
we
Dan
made
are-
cameos
Yeah.
before we had any idea we were going to be in the band.
The guy in the opening shot who's sitting on the John, that's our
Dan.
new bass player.
Dan.
And then in All Hands on Jane's little cameo, Mac is in the bottom left corner, I believe.
Getting startled by a can.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get scared.
Yeah, that's our girl.
But yeah, it's for the song Don't Dream Anymore. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's the lead
It's
single.
on the split.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
single. We wanted to do Dead Stout's Discouragement as the single, but we made the music video for Don't Dream Anymore, so that was
There you
that.
go.
Was that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then
I guess we got the release of March 30th.
March 30th at the
30th.
Palomino.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Detractions, No More Moments, and Act Natural.
Yep.
Yep,
It's gonna be good.
it's gonna be music.
Yeah. There will be music.
There will be
I'm
noise.
assuming.
There won't be a food platter. Well, yeah.
I don't care.
Won't be.
My favorite part of the Palomino is the food. Like the
Yeah,
shows
actually,
are great.
No, sorry, yeah, I am mistaken. We'll get a half-price food platter, which I'm okay with
That's
too.
totally
I'm
cool.
totally okay
we
with
should
that.
just get a fat ass platter. And just
I think
Oh,
that's
that was
the only thing that
implied,
doesn't
yeah.
that's the only thing that that discount doesn't
are you
apply
serious?
to. I think.
It's
Yeah.
$72.
I don't know. Sometimes it happens, but I'm sure this is very interesting for the podcast. I'm gonna get the brisket. What are you guys gonna
Whatever I get, it's gonna have cornbread, jalapeno cheddar cornbread.
Ooh.
'Cause I don't fuck around.
get? Can't forget that potato salad.
That's good. That's good.
Damn, I love cornbread.
Less Miserable loves cornbread. That's our final. That's
The Conniving Cadaver song?
Get out.
Alright.
But yeah, thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks, guys.
Yeah,
thanks so
Cool.
much. Yeah, thanks.
I hope you can edit this into a usable interview.
please do your magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I know
voices are replaced by Microsoft Sam.
I know it took me like at least 20 minutes to loosen up, and not jittery answers. So
Yeah, it happens. It's really nerve-wracking for a lot of people.
We
for
are
some-
very intimidating.
I
know,
I know.
It's all the
I know.
tattoos. We're kind of scared.
Well, thank you for calling me intimidating.
Thank you for calling my shirts comfy. We'll call it even.
This has been fun, guys. Thanks.
Thanks so much.
It's over before
If you liked this episode of the podcast, why not leave a review? You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. For up-to-date information on the podcast, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us at FrogE Style Productions. That's Frog, the letter E, Style Productions. For more ways to support the show, visit fsproductions.ca.